Hello?
Hello?
Is this the holy chair?
Yes? But it's not possible.
Not possible. So how do they do it? How do they get what they want? Because they get a lot done here.
You know, the United Nations works in a very interesting way. If 2 or 3 countries want something, they can almost always get it. Everybody searches for consensus. If the Vatican says to Honduras, I want you to promote us as a permanent observer status at the United Nations, and Honduras goes to El Salvador and to Nicaragua and to some other countries in the Central America region, and then they go to Latin America, and then they go to Eastern Europe, and they go to the heavily congregated Catholic countries, then nobody else wants to stand in the way because they may need those countries for something else. So everybody gives way to it. And the Vatican has a tremendously powerful lobby group. No one should delude themselves. When I was the Deputy Executive Director of UNICEF, I had to deal with the Catholic representative at the UN on a regular basis because they were very hostile to what they felt UNICEF was doing. They thought UNICEF was supporting abortion. They thought UNICEF was not following their rules around the availability of condoms in the situation of the pandemic. So I found myself constantly having lunch with and meeting with the Vatican representative who lobbied me more fiercely than did most other countries. You've got to understand, this is a very, very powerful outfit. I said they're not interested in the women of the world at all. That's an overstatement because they do care about food, clothing, shelter, etc. But they certainly don't care about women's rights as we understand them, the whole range of rights which should be attributed to women.
Wanneer je wil weten wat er gebeurt als de katholieke kerk vrij baan krijgt in de politiek, dan is Nicaragua een goed voorbeeld. Sinds 2006 is abortus daar onder invloed van de kerk geheel verboden. Een vrouw krijgt 2 jaar gevangenisstraf en een arts 3... als die, om wat voor reden dan ook, een abortus heeft verricht. Mevrouw Blandon leidt de strijd om abortus op medische gronden uit de criminele hoek te krijgen.
Les puedo comentar el caso más reciente. Ocurrió a inicios del mes de febrero del 2010. Vino a nosotros a buscar ayuda una joven de 27 años. Al final, cuando ella llega a nosotros, ya está embarazada, con 10 semanas de embarazo y con un cáncer extendido por todo el cuerpo. Cuando llega al hospital, los médicos le dijeron que no podían hacer nada por ella porque si le aplicaban el tratamiento para el cáncer, se moría el feto y eso estaba penado por la ley. Así que ella tenía que continuar con el embarazo y si lograba sobrevivir al embarazo hasta que este terminara, se le podía aplicar el tratamiento para el cáncer.
What we see with the Holy See masquerading as a state, when you have a situation where at the UN decisions are made through consensus, can you imagine if there's somebody there who destroys that consensus, who presents information that's untrue, who blocks the ability of government to move forward and make good health policy for people? The Vatican, having failed to convince Catholics to actually adhere to their extremist teachings on sexual and reproductive health, now tries to force lawmakers at places like the United Nations to deny life-saving services. That's something that won't affect you if you live in the Netherlands or if you live in New York, because we have the ability, the means to circumvent any prohibitions. We can go out and we can buy contraceptives. If you, though, are in Africa or in Asia, in a difficult part of the world and you are poor, you are dependent upon UN agencies, you're dependent on government aid in order to get the type of medical services that we take for granted. The Vatican is there trying to block your access to those services if you're a poor woman.
Eindelijk komt daar dan het bevrijdende telefoontje. De ambassadeur van het Vaticaan bij de Verenigde Naties, aartsbisschop Celestino Migliore, is bereid een interview te geven. Maar dan wel in Rome.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Gideon from Holland. To be frank, I oppose your position at the UN. For me, I think you should be an NGO, like all other religions. I don't agree that you have the ability to talk to everybody when you want, because that's something that you can. And you can also participate in discussions in separate commissions, and you have a lot of influence. And I actually oppose that position, because I think you should be equal to all other religions.
This is not a matter of disregarding equality. It's a matter of complying with certain requirements that in order to be a member of the United Nations. And we are a religion, but we also, because of history and because of our structure, of our central government, and our presence all over the world, we qualify. So,
yeah, but it's a kind of game, it's a kind of trick, because the Vatican is not really a country, it's a religion. You represent all Catholics.
It's not a trick that we fabricated.